should never depict what people are doing. Comparison is one of the elements that normally kills people.
100%.
You should never compare yourself to other person.
Never.
Focus on building yourself. For example, if you are doing a show this way, we should focus on growing slower than growing faster. On this, focus on growing slower than growing faster. On this, welcome to the Created Podcast, the Sunday of 21st May 2023, as we bring you the social media impact, its negative side. And in the studio, I'm having Kevin. Kevin, how are you?
I'm good, Bruce. How are you?
I'm good. And how are the days taking you?
The days are going good.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to push.
Okay, that is nice. Basically on this particular segment, you're going to deal about the social media, basically the WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, even TikTok. It has certain limitations which affect the society negatively. And we're going to tackle them one by one. And you can introduce one of the segment and then you can go in.
Okay, so thank you, Bruce, for having me.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second time on the show, and I'm grateful to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy of the work you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So on today's session, we'll be talking about the negative aspects of social media, that is. So we have most things have a good aspect to them,
Mm-hmm.
as well as a bad aspect to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you've outlined most of these platforms, which we categorize as social media areas.
Uh-huh.
And some have bigger impacts on let's say how you live your life and such.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you can compare WhatsApp to Instagram, because WhatsApp has, let's say, a certain people who you know and all that. But if you come to a platform such as Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, you're dealing with people who live like abroad and all that. So people who are far away from you,
Okay.
who are not in your circle. So all these social media platforms
Mm-hmm.
have their
Mm-hmm.
own effect on you.
Uh-huh.
Platforms such as LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
might have more good effects
Very
than
good.
bad as compared to some aspects. But we'll try and break down some of those concepts
Mm-hmm.
or some of those factors that bring up the feeling of the negativity in social media.
Okay, that is nice. Even
Sure.
if before we continue, I think you're on social media.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can-
on social media,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not an avid user
Okay.
of social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I actually created my first Facebook account when I got after university. That is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an avid user of social media, but I'm there just to keep up with the trends as well,
Okay.
and for work purposes,
Mm-hmm.
for school purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not too much for the entertainment.
Okay, that is nice.
Yeah.
And actually, I remind I should actually put the microphone near you.
Sorry.
I'm kind of losing you.
Sure.
So basically, also I'm on social media, but having a limitation despite having an account that actually runs the Created Podcast shows in terms of videos and in terms of audios. But I'm on social media there not 100%, but also having a keen in a way that I'm managing it in a better way rather than going in a negative aspect of it. So basically, before the show started, we were talking about the cyberbullying and how it normally has its history from this social media. And you told me about something about the penalization. What was that?
So in Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
cyberbullying, was actually doing some research. Cyberbullying is a crime in Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
and it's punishable
Mm-hmm.
up to 10 years in prison,
Mm-hmm.
or a fine of up to 20 million Kenyan shillings.
Mm-hmm.
So currently in Kenya, if you're a cyberbully, you face dire consequences. So yeah, continue doing it. You will get to prison, or unless you have 20 million shillings somewhere
Mm-hmm.
to pay us fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, those are actually the real consequences. Before even social media came in the early 90s, the real bullying happened was face to face, whereby I come to you and then I do something wrong, put a fist on my face.
Sure.
But recently now it's done on the tweet, on the comment, in Facebook, Instagram, and all these kind of social media platform, whereby you find somebody just goes into your social media, tears you down, and then actually also can even steal your document, give to other particular lenders, and actually your account will have been having siphoned.
I completely agree. You
Mhm.
know, most of the bullying in the old times
Mhm.
was, let's say, mostly at school,
Mhm.
and you had to wake up, get to school, let's say by 10 a.m. you're being bullied.
Mhm.
But these days, you wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, you get into your account,
Mhm.
and somebody has already started bullying you in the morning.
It's so
So I actually start to envy our grandparents
uh-huh.
who lived without social media.
Mhm.
I actually feel that their life was a bit more engaged with their surroundings
Okay.
rather than other people's lives and
Mhm.
what they are doing. But
Mhm.
we'll still crack because we have to adapt to change.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very nice. So actually, basically, we have spoken about the real consequences, but there might be a solution to this in a way that you can prevent cyberbullying in real life. So in your own instances, how can we really approach this particular instance?
So I ideally have two solutions for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start with the first one, which is the cyberbullying laws.
Uh-huh.
So the cyberbullying laws are actually there to stop cyberbullying.
Uh-huh.
So correct or proper enforcing of these laws
Mm-hmm.
will help reduce some of these cases. And then one of the biggest things that I believe in,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be in social media
Yeah.
24 hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So to avoid the negative aspects of depression,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety that come from social media,
Mm-hmm.
just try to take some time of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just have some disconnect
Very good.
during the day. If you spend about 5 hours on social media, try to cut it down to about 1 hour or 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Try to have some self control, and this is for grown-ups who feel affected by social media.
Mm-hmm.
We also have kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these days kids have access to tablets,
Yeah.
phones, and all that, and they're on social media. They have YouTube accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So for kids as well,
Mhm.
if you are a parent with a kid who is active on social media, you will want to try and cut down on the time that your child spends on the internet as well. So those are my two solutions. The first and foremost is disconnect, because actually you are being bullied because you take too much time, let's say, on the platforms. And then secondly, this goes to the authorities. It's what we call enforcing of these laws. Yeah, sure.
And also, let's think about creating an account. Basically, when you create an account, you need to have a set of rules that will guide you. For instance, you must have a stronger password. The second thing, after creating the account, when you see there's something like a phishing attack coming through, you can block that person also, can also help to avoid these such particular cybersecurity issues. And then also there's about following the privacy policies. They always be there in a way that for the user, for example, if you use on Twitter, you have the consent of agreeing to these particular terms in a way that they will actually put a limit to these particular people coming to your account. But if you don't put it, then it gives another way of hackers maybe coming into your account. Okay,
Yeah.
very well.
So maybe just to add on that,
Mhm.
I think one of the aspects that social media has tried to do is add a blocking functionality.
Mhm.
So if you're not comfortable with someone following your content or looking at your content or commenting on your content,
Mhm.
you can block them from
Mhm.
doing such.
Mhm.
YouTube as well. If you don't want comments, I usually see you can disable comments.
Okay, very
So
well.
those are some of the measures that social media platforms have also taken to prevent these negativities that come up. Yeah.
And when you're still talking about the cyber bullying and hacking threats, there's something you mentioned about depression and anxiety. So these actually affect the long people who take time having the long hours on the social media. So how do you see do they actually balance their normal routine basis and working on the social media, because the social media itself is a world on its own, and also we have a reality here outside. So there must be a separate world. So how can we move away from the depression and anxiety to living a healthy life?
So ideally on that, I would advise. I know most people love uh, have hobbies. Actually, that's what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you in your case, I know you love football.
Very good.
So you usually play a lot of football,
Mm-hmm.
and if you play less football
Mm-hmm.
and you are more into social media,
Mm-hmm.
that might have a negative effect on you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you spend more time on football
Mm-hmm.
out there, instead of being somewhere in a cocoon, in a world
Mm-hmm.
that's more or less like
Mm-hmm.
you don't really know if it exists. You just sit and just think like wow, and have depression and such.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, my point is, if you have a hobby
Mm-hmm.
or an interest away from social media, just try to maximize on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you love reading, if you love riding bikes, going hiking,
Mm-hmm.
outdoor activities, that is
Mm-hmm.
games, try and take some time off social media. If you're at work,
Mm-hmm.
try and exercise some
Mm-hmm.
self control, like
Mm-hmm.
schedule your day, man.
Uh-huh.
If you're at school, do so as well. Just take some time off that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, I'm not really fan of politics, but sometimes you might go on the internet, you find something very agitative in a way that it doesn't compel with your own feeling, in a way that doesn't affiliate with your narrative about a particular story. The thing is, this particular article, they're not meant to be that actual in it. So that in a way that you can have your own definition of those particular terms, but don't be fully focused on them. Because now if you focus on them, they might even harass you in a way that you may go outside fighting with people. That's not good.
Yeah, I think maybe to add on that,
Uh-huh.
some of these aspects that uh,
Mm-hmm.
bring people to depression
Mm-hmm.
is like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you read an article,
Mm-hmm.
you don't agree with it,
Mm-hmm.
or it traps you in a certain way,
Yeah.
it becomes like a problem for you.
Mm-hmm.
Other aspects might be finances,
Yeah.
So, because people out there
Mm-hmm.
only show the good life
Very good.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you assume everybody is living a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Some are, I'm not saying that some aren't,
Mm-hmm.
but becomes like, why am I not getting money? Why am I not living a happy life?
Yeah.
Why am I not in a relationship? For girls, you might find they might feel like their bodies aren't that up to par. They see girls with cars and all
By the way,
that.
yeah.
So those are some of the aspects that drive people to depression on social media.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Those. So basically, you're on depression, but actually move into another topic that is about the unrealistic expectation of the social media,
Sure.
whereby you find there's so many stage photos, for example, for social media, because we've said the impact of the girls. They normally follow the world of social media, basically in terms of dressing code, all this narrative. You find somebody showcasing his best way of life. You don't know in the back of their mind, maybe they're in financial debt in a way that they want to have the whole world compelling comment, tweets, likes, and followers. And in you particular, you don't have these particular mortgages or money. So you actually tend to actually go into depression again. So how do you see about that?
So ideally, it happens
Mm-hmm.
in social media.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are living. Sorry for that. There are people who are living good life, and there are some who uh, are living good life. That is,
Uh-huh.
but are faking it somehow.
Okay.
They call it fake it till you make it. So so the fake it till you make it
Uh-huh.
might be giving you depression,
Very nice.
yet
Mm-hmm.
they are depressed themselves. Okay.
By the way.
So eh, you just have to have some resilience to all these. People these days want to get rich quick
Very good.
because they see other people out there are rich. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So have some resilience. Try to keep off social media and all that, and remember all these people with flashy lives, even those who aren't faking it, they also have bad times. Yeah, so just don't look at the positive aspect of their lives as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in terms of authenticity, the world of social media doesn't have it so much, but we can create a world whereby you can have a good life in a way that we can have group discussions, we can visit the library, or we can create a podcast the way you're creating, sharing ideas. It actually even improve your mental or psychology and how you become very active in the particular world. So basically, because it's a world of social media and the world of influencers, it won't end really soon. But if we put positive measures, it will end, and the world will become better. In terms of the fear of missing out. First of all, you see somebody with a limousine. You've never driven a limousine. Have you driven a limousine?
I wouldn't want to drive a limousine.
Now, maybe it is a future expectation of yours. Driving a
Yeah,
limousine.
so maybe for you it might be driving a limousine. But me, I would love, let's say, riding one. Okay. But I completely get your point. Your point is having all these expectations of, let's say, yeah, expectations of what's supposed to be. Okay. Like, or what you want, what you want your life to look like. So I've had episodes of that as well. Everyone has had episodes of that, unless you, I don't know. I know you also have goals.
Yeah, their goals are there. Yeah.
So it's all about knowing, even if you have expectations, you can't realize these expectations, let's say, of riding in a limo by feeling depressed or anxious about what other people are doing. You can only ride on the limo if you work hard enough, if you work smart, and all that.
Very good.
So just know that's the way. Work on it. Yeah.
Work on yourself. I think Kevin has actually put it in a positive way,
Sure.
in a way that we should never depict what people are doing. Comparison is one of the elements that normally kills people.
100%.
You should never compare yourself to other person.
Never.
Focus on building yourself. For example, if you're doing a show this way, we should focus on growing slowly rather than growing faster on the second day. Very good. So let's speak about performance in academic and work. How the social media is attributed in a way that you see failing performance. How do you say about that? People are really focusing on the social media rather than doing work. For example, if you went to university, most people are on social media. I think you know that. They're not focused on the academics. So social media can have a low performance on their side. So on your own resonance, how do you say about it?
So ideally, it all boils down on the time you take on social media. You might be at work or at school, but you do access social media. So the only problem comes in when you spend so much time on social media. So you usually become unproductive on other aspects.
Very good.
If you are at work, you can't meet job objectives. If you're at school, you are losing out on, let's say, classes or homework and all that. So it's all about toning down on the time you take, so that you can be more productive on more important issues.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think management is one of the key aspects. There was a day when I was just traveling, when I was on board on a matatu. So somebody just said, on work, we need to have a strict management whereby they... So the thing is, they need to cut off the internet. So people should work.
That's a bit funny, but
it can't work, by the way. So people are actually having so many argumentative about it, but it's just true. People need to have in a better way, they focus in a better way, make sure they accomplish their work, if it's school or in the academy or in the workplaces, whereby they accomplish their work in time and finish and actually have an objective. And then at the end of the day, if there is a remaining time, they can go on social media again, do what they want to do.
I do get that concern. That guy you saw on your way somewhere. So the concern is usually there, and we also have some solutions coming up. Like there are companies that block YouTube.
Very good.
So they block YouTube for a certain reason. But even as you're blocking YouTube, remember that YouTube also has positive content, like what we are doing over here.
Yeah.
So even as you're blocking YouTube, you are blocking positive content as well. So I think it's all about education, awareness, and all that, and having a good rapport with your employees. If you have a good rapport with your employees, they'll feel guilty spending more time on social media
Very good.
instead of
Mhm.
working on the company's objectives. Yeah.
So very nice and very well accurate. So basically, in terms of money is involved. For you to be famous on social media, I think I've seen on people. Sometimes people have very limited followers. Some have very rich followers because if you're on Twitter, for example, there's normally a pop-up that says you need to for you to be monetized, you need to subscribe to a particular channel in a way that you pay particular amount for that particular subscription, and in a way that you get better promoting your content. So you find money is involved, whereby you find so creators in terms of beginners, they find it harder for promoting themselves. Even sometimes people actually there was a story. Let me tell you. So I won't say it. I hate gossiping. First of all, the thing is, this a musician who was very popular during the time of COVID-19. So he was producing this fancy song, but the thing is, he lacked money in a way that he can promote his content. In a way that he became frustrated. In a way that where are my fellow colleagues of fellow musicians doing better than me? So this guy actually is washing cars right now. So the thing is, so there is a reality about money is involved. I think you have a story to say.
So these days, I don't know if you've heard about that. There are guys who buy accounts. So you hear of people buying accounts with 50,000 followers, 10,000 followers. So money does become an aspect because once you have a certain kind of following, brands might want to use you for digital marketing and all that, brand being a brand ambassador and all that. So just to advise people on that, most of these guys who have good content on YouTube, whichever platform it is, came up with the content authentically. They didn't copy it. Most of them didn't find shortcuts to do that. They just worked on their craft, and it became like perfect. People subscribe to it. So just work on your craft slowly by slowly. People love authenticity. People love seeing you doing something that suits you, not copying something that someone else has done. So be authentic and take it slow, man. Take it slow. It doesn't happen that fast.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think everything has its own time of actually growing up. Even a seed germinates, grows up, shoots, and then becomes a fully fruits.
Exactly.
So the thing is, you need actually to grow slow, the way you've said. Then after time, you'll become successful in a way that, first of all, you need to also know your budgeting. If you don't have that particular certain money, just grow with your own budget.
Yeah, don't work
as time goes up.
Don't work above your means.
Yes.
Work with your means.
Yes, and then unfortunately, and then someday some people will come onto your show and then actually sponsor you and will become famous already. So I think you're going somewhere. Have you ever find yourself scrolling on social media without even having a consent? In a way that you just scroll on the social media, going up, down, and down. Then you realize, what am I doing on social media?
Sometimes it does happen when you're bored, or let's say you've been in social media for a while. You've seen all you wanted to see. Because for me, I usually go to Twitter, and for me, the interesting things are usually the hashtags that are trending at the time. So once I view the hashtags and I'm done with the hashtags, I might find myself scrolling on some other aspects that aren't so. But that's usually the point whereby I just work out the platform and find something new. Yeah. So for me, it's not that serious because I'm not an avid user of social media. Yeah, sure.
So basically, this tends to happen majorly when people are almost going to sleep on the night. So basically, on the side of your bed, you have your phone.
Yeah, so actually, you've got me on that.
Uh-huh.
But for me, I usually sleep early.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel sleep really early. So for me, what I usually do, by the time I'm going to sleep, I'll open YouTube, and I love watching basketball.
Okay.
So I usually watch basketball highlights.
I think there's a content now here.
Yeah, but
we have a basketball.
But what's interesting, I can't finish 5 minutes. Yeah, without sleeping. Yeah.
You're trying to watch, then the sleep comes.
I usually sleep.
Mhm.
Usually find my phone off in the morning since it has watched all the highlights it could have watched and then switched off. But I usually do it once in a while. Let's say if I'm not having sleep, but I usually watch content that's let's say entertaining
Mhm.
and not content that it's either entertaining or
Mhm.
educative,
Mhm.
uh, not content that tries to break you down,
Okay, very
or
good.
bring you depression and all that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is very good. So the thing is, social media, these are actually on your mobile phone. I've been scrolling this phone, the entire section. The thing is, the social media being created in a way that the algorithm, they normally trick you in a way that you will focus on that particular tool until the day that you'll get frustrated by it. But the thing is, don't allow social media metrics and the algorithm design what you want to do in life. Focus on yourself, manage your time, and actually become productive in your own way. So, Kevin, as you're winding up this particular segment of the Created Podcast, I think first of all, I say thank you for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
Uh-huh.
Anytime.
What are your last words to the viewers?
So I'll just stress on what you've said,
Mm-hmm.
and you've said focus on yourself, and I'll add on disconnect. Try to have some disconnect uh, to social media,
Okay.
but that mostly applies to, let's say, people who don't have. There are guys who do work on
Mhm.
social media. They
Mhm.
depend on social media,
Mhm.
so I can't really tell them to disconnect.
Yeah, you
But
can.
most of these guys who work on social media,
Mhm.
they are not. They are a bit more experienced.
Mhm.
So cyberbullying, depression,
Mhm.
they are a bit past that.
Mhm.
Some aren't.
Mhm.
But for guys who aren't, if you're not working on social media, if you're not doing all that uh, serious stuff on social media, try to cut down the time you take on social media.
Mhm.
Try to have some bit of disconnect,
Mhm.
and then jump into other activities. There are very many exciting activities out there that you can do
Mhm.
apart from being on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. And actually, that was brilliant of you, by the way, for having so much ideas, very curated one and very um, on the scope. So the thing is, thank you for watching, whether you're on Twitter, on Facebook, or YouTube, watching it live. We really appreciate you being here and actually see you in the next section. And remember to subscribe and follow us on this particular section.